think like being together with all my friends and like being disconnected from all like the outside world, I guess.
Probably doing all the games and the activities and being able to socialize with everyone and also having a good time, and then at the end of the day wrapping it up and connecting it to God. We did some things like lying in the grass, and that was looking at God and trying to connect our life and the living that we're doing to God. And other parts were just fooling around, like playing gotcha ball or something.
I'd say the best part was getting to sit around the campfire and like sing songs with all my friends and stuff, because I felt really close to God when I did that, I guess. When you get to connect with the people around you and stuff, I feel like, and just because it's so silent, like at night with just the stars like above you, and just to like kind of take in all of God's creation and like the friends He put in your life and like making them feel like family, I guess, and like including Him.
Art and prayer, because it incorporated art and nature. We like looked at pictures and then looked at like how that incorporated God, and then went for a nature walk also. So it just incorporated things I really liked, so it was fun for me.
My favorite class was probably, for how weird this sounds, death and dying, because I got to learn a lot about like things you don't get to talk about with most people, and you got to learn about the process and what happens behind the doors of death and dying.
My favorite class was the one where you could go to the jail. The one about being a faithful public servant, because you go around the jail and see all the different stuff and connect that, and it was just kind of cool to see all the different stuff.
I just say my grandparents. Yeah, so my grandparents probably, because they're always at church, always there, respectful, you know. They're funny, they know when to care, when to goof around with you. Just showing up and praying.
I would say my small group leader, Kurt, because every week he brought us here and we had a fun time with him, and it was cool to be with him. So we kind of like got close and stuff. And so, like, not just with Kurt, but, like, the people in the small group, too. And it was just a good way to be with other people and learn together, so.
I would say my father, because he taught me so much about going through or being a Christian. He would tell me stories with my sister and I. He would tell us different stories from the Bible, and, yeah, that's about it.
My verse was Matthew's 6:34, and it basically talked about don't stress too much about what's happening today, because there's going to be other things tomorrow to be stressed about. Which, thinking back now, doesn't sound very comforting, but in the moment I thought it was sort of cool, because I tend to catastrophize and overreact to a lot of stuff, so I thought it was interesting to have one that would help me be like stay focused on what's happening in the present.
So Hebrews 13:8, Jesus Christ is the same today, tomorrow, and forever. And I chose that because I think it's good to like have a constant in life, and like sometimes like not everything is going to work out, but you always know that Jesus is going to be like there for you.
I mean, I think I'm really good at understanding when someone needs my help, and then it's like something my dad always says is see the need, meet the need, and be there when somebody needs you.
I'm a nice person, I would say, and like I empathize and like I have sympathy for other people, and I'm generally pretty nice, and so I may not have like a ginormous effect on the world, but I think just like spreading kindness and happiness and just like, you know, smiling at people, just like doing small things like that, it does make a huge difference in the entire world. And so I kind of try and pass that on and, you know, be nice to others, compliment people and smile and just try and be like positive to be around. And I feel like that's good enough.
My favorite was small groups. It was just nice to be able to talk to some people that kind of understand, like, the whole God aspect of your week, which was nice.
It definitely helped me with my faith. Like, going into this, God and, like, my faith was kind of something just kind of, like, on the sideline. Like, I knew I was religious, I knew I believed in God, but I didn't really take it any farther than that. But it's definitely developed more, I feel like, talking about it with our groups, and it's developed my faith, but also made me understand it more. Like, less made it more of a, oh, you have to do this, and more of a, I believe in this, and it's something that I truly appreciate and need in my life.
That every time you go up and have the bread and the wine, you're honoring his sacrifice and looking forward to his return.
Communion is meaningful to me because it allows me to feel like I'm actually with God and that He's there in my hand while I'm holding it, and then I'd eat it, and then I feel like He's just part of me, like He's become part of my system. So like when you eat protein, it becomes like an assist to your muscles. When you eat that, it assists you in your faith.
It means to me like expanding my relationship with God and like meeting new people or meeting new friends, and pretty much just spending time with God and friends around a table.
I would say that like confirmation is another step in my faith, but one that is for the most part like facilitated by me. And so it's not like baptism in the way that like when I was a baby I didn't ask to be baptized, my parents baptized me. But for confirmation it was kind of like my choice to become confirmed and to like take another step with my faith, and so it's significant to me for that reason.
It's kind of like a new beginning after your baptism. It kind of like confirms that you're like believer of God and that you want to be a follower of Him.
It's like being accepted into His flock. I have someone whose example I can follow, someone I can turn to when I'm in need or don't know what to do, someone who can guide me.
I guess I would want to ask him like what his purpose is for me, like what he wants me to do with my life.
Why do people die young?
Why is there so much like pain and suffering in the world? And like for me, I have a very fortunate life, but there are some people that I know who have like a lot more issues in their life, and I just wonder why it's that way and why it's not all like even across the board, I guess. And yeah.
Well, probably out, like, up north, we have a cabin, and, like, we go fishing on the lake and just being with family.
Well, I would definitely say in church, because it's church. And also during the Christmas service, which I go to every year, the Silent Night, when we all light the candles and sing it, that is such a cool thing, because, like, the lights are off, and then everyone's holding candles, and it's kind of, like, connecting with everyone and then connecting with God, and it's like a really good feeling. I felt really close to God on the mission trip, and like we always did these like songs at the end, or like at the end of our day we'd like sing, and there was this one song, I forgot what it was called, but we like sang this verse over and over again, and it was like, you make me new, you're making me new, and we just like thought about the whole experience and like how it changed us as people.
Sounds really, really, really morbid, but at funerals. That's so horrible. That sounds depressing and emo as heck. Oh my gosh. Like, they're super sad, but it's like, yay. Like, they're in a better place than... I don't know. It's just like, funerals and weddings, like when we're in churches, it's like, because like the funeral, it's like the end, this person's done, they're going, like, and God is also there to take them with it. But like weddings also, it's like two people are starting. It's like a beginning and an end. I really like the one where I almost really like, my favorite one would be when God made Earth, because like he had a plan for all of this, even with all the like imperfections, or even with everything that's happening, everything God planned, like God created. And as long as we respect the place that God made and put us in, like it's not ours, it's God's. We need to respect that. Like story means a lot because it means that he didn't make it for us. We were just put in it. So it's not ours to just misuse. It's ours that we need to treat carefully.
Just any story where Jesus is like healing people, so the leper, the blind man, the cripple, because it just shows you what God's love can really do to someone. And I think that's really important.
I'm gonna tell you, in 6th grade, I would have never said anything when I would not feel the same way. Sometimes I don't really, like, my dad would force me to go to church sometimes and say, we're all going to church. I said, okay. But now with the small groups and things, you're with God, and my relationship with God over the past years have grown so exponentially. I couldn't tell you how crazy it is, because I'm glad that I went on a mission trip. And I'm glad, especially the South Dakota one. The main flip was just that South Dakota trip when we were all sitting there and it was quiet. I just think of that time and how that flipped me and my relationship with God, and so it just got a lot closer, and that's how this thing all skyrocketed.
Ooh, that's a hard question. I used to think like he was just some person that like just like takes people up into heaven and stuff, but now he's like somebody that loves everyone and cares for every single person.